everybody. Welcome back to Matrix to Paradise. I am here in Oklahoma, in a place called Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, at the Walmart distribution center. We have my company has a terminal here. We do dedicated work out of here. So I've been here, stuck here basically for 2 weeks, doing dedicated work, dropping off Walmart stuff at Walmart stores. So I thought I'd show you around. There's the shop over there. There's another Crete. These are all Crete trucks here. There's some Walmart trucks over on the other side, but that's what I'm doing here. I figured I'd start this video off with kind of a locator where I'm at. I think what I got through with the last video, I was talking about my aunt. She was looking at her iPad and she saw an advertisement for CR England, which is another trucking company. And CR England, I called them and they said, why don't you go and get your learning permit and we'll talk about it after that. So I went and got my learning permit. I had to go down and take the tests and all that. It wasn't the driving test, but it was the written test stuff. Went and got my learner permit and called them back up again and said, hey, I've got my learner permit. They said I also had to go get a DOT, which is Department of Transportation physical, so that I could be eligible to drive a truck. And I said, okay. So I went and got the DOT physical. They paid for that, which was good. Went and got that. Came back and called them again, and they were really weird about it on the phone. They said, well, where do you live? And I told them at the time I was living down close to Tucson with my aunt at the time. And I told them that, and they said, well, we don't have any work down there. Can you move to another city in Arizona? I said, no, I can't. And they were just, the person I was talking to on the phone was really weird about it. I was like, all right, well, just let me go call around to other companies and see what I got here. So I couldn't, CR England, I don't know what the heck was going on with them, but it was really weird. So anyway, I said, well, I'll call other companies. And the one that I was thinking about was Swift Transportation. It's a huge company. Everybody's seen the trucks out on the road. Swift Transportation is a company that's based out of Phoenix, Arizona. I've known them, I've seen them since I was a kid, so I knew that they were there. So I called them, and the recruiter said, hey, no problem. You got your stuff, whatever. All they did was send me for another DOT physical. Ironically enough, I was sent to the same doctor that I went to before. So the doctor, when I came back in there, the doctor was laughing at me saying, what are you doing here again? I said, different company, they want their own stuff, whatever. So I went in there and got that done. And then a few days later, the woman who was the recruiter called me back up and said, I've got bad news. And I said, well, bad news, what? And she said, Swift no longer wants to pursue you. And I said, why? What could possibly be wrong? I have no tickets on my record. I have, no criminal record whatsoever. Nothing wrong. I mean, I have nothing against me that I could think of, at least. And I said, what could it be? And she says, I can't say anything because I know what it is, but I can't tell you because it's against the law. We can't just, disclose, company, we're against their law, whatever. We can't disclose that on the phone, blah, 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 whatever. I said, okay, whatever. That's great. And I was like, I can't believe they would do that, because I'm a prime candidate and, I'm reliable. She's like, listen, I know you're a good guy. Call this number. There's a guy named Carlos there. Talk to him. He'll get you into their school. He'll get you in with another company and you'll be good. I said, okay. So I called up this guy named Carlos and he's like, yeah, sure. Come down, talk, let's talk. So I went down there and talked to him, and it's the CDL school called Roadmaster, and Roadmaster is owned by a company called Werner Enterprises, and Werner Enterprises is one of the biggest companies after Swift and some of the bigger ones. But they're a pretty good sized organization, and they take newbies just like Swift does and other companies. So he was able to take me in. He had no problems. And I asked him, I said, what could it have possibly been that Swift turned me down? You see my record. I have no, they do a whole entire check on you. I mean, like credit check, everything. They do they crawl up your butt with a microscope. I said, what could it have possibly been that they would say no, they don't want to pursue me anymore? He said, it's probably because of your time gaps in your work history in the recent, 3 or 4 years. I said, so my time over in Cambodia was used against me, and the time in between where I didn't have a job, or I was traveling or doing something, that was used against me, even though I would have explained it all if they would have asked me, but they just didn't care to ask me. So it didn't matter. It was for a purpose anyway, whatever. I don't know. I believe in God, and God probably directed me to go to Werner. But anyway, so I went to Werner, or I went to the CDL school at Roadmaster, completed that, got done with that, and I had to go for 3 weeks on the road with a trainer. So I went and did that, went 3 weeks on the road with a trainer, and I was a company driver for Werner for a year. After the year was done, I went and worked for my trainer, who was also worked for Werner, but he worked for Werner as a lease operator. So what he did was he leased a truck from Werner. He actually had 2 trucks at the time leased. He had another driver working for him. And when you lease operate, that means you're paying for the fuel, you're paying for the lease on the truck. So basically, Werner gets they get a lot better deal without having to worry about you. You still have their maintenance, being done on your truck and all that, but you're paying for the fuel and all that. But you get paid a lot more. It's a lot better deal that way. I don't know if I would want to ever do that myself. Obviously, it's like a 3-year commitment if you do that. So it wasn't in the cards for me to do that myself personally. But I worked with him, and the one catch about that job was I had to train people. And it's not the problem. I don't mind training people, but you're going to have someone on your truck all the time. So some newbie is going to be on your truck. And I don't mind that either, because I'm a social person, and no problem. And I don't even mind. I had both sexes on here too. There was no problems. Everything went fine. I got along with the girls. I got along with the guys. The only problem is that the bosses at Werner and my boss are expecting us to drive as a team. So what driving as a team means is, like, when they're on their 3 weeks in my truck, the first 5 days are observation. After the first 5 days, they're expecting us to work on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, and keep the truck moving at all times. So I don't know if anybody's ever ridden around in a truck, the tractor trailer, but sleeping in the back of the tractor trailer when it's moving is like, it's like trying to sleep on a Ferris, not a Ferris wheel, but some kind of crazy roller coaster ride at an amusement park. There's no way possible. It's ridiculous. I don't know how people do it. So that's one problem. But also another problem is I couldn't trust myself personally. It was hard for me to trust a newbie driving for the first time with a tractor trailer, driving for the first time. I couldn't trust them to, even after the first 5 days, to drive the truck without me being in front. Now, I'm not saying that some weren't worthy and that you couldn't do it. Of course they could. But especially the older ones that got on here and did it. But the newer ones, the younger kids, some of them were hot dogs. Some of them went around corners too fast. And it's not hard to flip these things over on a corner. It's just not. Or run something over and not look. And if I'm up here at all times when they're driving, then I can tell them, hey, make sure you're looking out your mirrors. Make sure you're checking where the trailer's going. Make sure of all that. But I couldn't do it sleeping in the back. I just couldn't. And I'm not dying in this truck. I don't care what what it took, I was not going to die in this truck or any truck. So, because somebody else doesn't know how to drive a truck. So I did that for a while, almost a year, and I said, they were starting to get on us because they were starting to get on me because I wasn't producing the amount of mileage they thought I should be producing. So I said, look, this is probably not a good fit for all of us. So I'm going to go and try and find another job, and I'll wait until you find another driver to take the truck and do that. And so I was cool with that, and they found another driver, and I moved on and went and worked for Crete, which I'm here now. Now, I only want to do this for a couple years because this job, as much as I like it, I like traveling around. I like seeing the different parts of the country. I like driving truck. It's fun. It really is. I get satisfaction out of backing the thing into a tight spot. It's amazing how some little things will tickle your fancy, make you feel happy about doing it. Because honestly, it takes a long time, and I'm pretty skilled at driving beforehand. But man, trying to back a 53-foot trailer with a 20-some foot truck, trying to back that into a parking spot the size of a regular parking spot and not hit anything is it takes some time to learn that. And that's a big deal. And so when you finally get to the point where you're like, I know how to do this. I could park at any spot, when you get to that point. Now, that was a long time ago for me, but I still get the thrill of it today, So, so I used to tell my my trainees, I would say, wait till you get to that point where you pull in and hey, there's a spot over there, I can pull in there, no problem. Because a lot of times I'll tell them always, pick the easiest spot. If you can pick a drive-through spot where you don't have to back into it, go for that. Practice your backing when it's safe, like when you're in a distribution center and there's no trucks. See, because the problem is hitting trucks. If you're in a distribution center and you're parking a trailer next to a bunch of other trailers, if you rub another trailer, as long as you don't smash it, and cause major damage, if you rub another trailer, it's not that big a deal. It's a learning experience. You're not going to, if you look at if any of these trailers that are out here in this Walmart lot here, you're going to find scrapes and stuff on the edges of the trailers and all that. Well, that's just, people rubbing them. Newbies, pretty much. And I don't rub them. I don't rub anymore. I don't rub any of them anymore. I have in the past a few times, but I'm kind of a perfectionist with it. I'll sit there all day if I can't figure it out. I'll keep working on it before I'll rub into something. But I always told them, look, don't worry about it. Just practice getting into the hole with the trailer in the distribution center. Don't do it in a truck stop at night when you're tired. You've been driving for 9 or 10 hours. You're trying to back into the last spot in a truck stop, and you run into somebody else's truck, into somebody else's tractor, and they come out and start calling you names and calling you an idiot. And you don't want that hassle. I said, if you're not comfortable going into those spots, park along a curb somewhere, in the truck stop or wherever you can. Don't risk it if you don't feel comfortable doing it. But anyway, I get to the point where I'm to the point, a long time ago, but I've been, solid with my backing for 2 years now. But it still gives me a thrill to this day. But anyway, to get back to my story, I don't want to do this forever because it's harsh on your body. You're eating truck stop food. You don't have, I have a little refrigerator in here, but those things don't hold that much. So if you're out here for a month at a time, somewhere in there, you're going to have to find some place to go and detach your trailer, because you can't take a tractor and a trailer and go find stuff. You can detach the trailer and drive the truck somewhere. But, honestly, after all day driving, you're tired. You really are tired. I am beat every day when I'm done driving. I drive 9 or 10 hours a day. So when I'm done driving, I don't want to detach the trailer or go find a spot. First off, I got to go find a spot to park. Then when I find a spot to park, I'd have to go find a Walmart grocery or some kind of grocery store, and then detach the trailer, drive over, go shopping for food, and then, come out and go back and then go to sleep or do what I'm going to do. It's just, you're just too tired. That's just the way it is. So you get whatever's there. And I'm trying to keep it minimal as possible, but you're not very active when you're out here. You're driving, you're sitting down for most of the time. It's not really cool. I like being out in the open and, I like walking around. Whenever I go overseas, I'm walking or taking a tuk-tuk, but I'm walking around a lot. And, you're not sitting on your butt for 10 hours a day. So anyway, that's the point. That's how I got to this. And like, there's a lot of guys out here who've been out here for years driving trucks. And I give it up to them. It's a tough job in the fact that you don't get to see anybody. I mean, there's no life in this. If you're doing over-the-road truck driving, there is no life. You're not going out for beers every Saturday night. You're not doing crap. I'm out for a month at least every time I'm out. And then when I get back, all I want to do is sleep. And go visit I go visit my aunt and go back to Phoenix and, do that. I just like the relaxation, not having to get up every morning and go make an appointment somewhere, get a load somewhere. So I take 4 or 5 days off at a time after a month or two, and I just want, to relax. So this isn't a kind of life that, unless you're good with solitude and good with being away from any kind of life whatsoever, you don't want to do over-the-road trucking. Now, there is dedicated trucking. These guys that work here at this Walmart here, they do their run during the day. They come back, they park their truck, they go home and sleep in their own bed. And that's fine. If you want, but they're paying rent. Okay? I'm not paying rent. I'm living back there in the sleeper. So, being in the sleeper is saving me $1,500 a month rather than, being a dedicated driver and staying home and, paying $1,500 a month plus electric and water and, whatever else, entertainment, because then I'll be home, and I want to go out and do stuff. So why would I, forget that? I'm saving money because it's not going to be that long. I'm going to save up enough money to go overseas, and I'm going to get into a video sooner or later about money and about how much I think I have to take, and where I'm at now, and what I'm going to, how I'm going to make this all happen. And I'll get into it in another video, but that's what I'm out here for. So I'm kind of suffering through this, not really suffering like as in, it's, I'm crying and whining. I'm not whining about it. I actually enjoy the job. But this is not really what I want to do. This is not my paradise. Okay. This is still the Matrix, but it's a means to an end. And the end is going to be go overseas and slow travel and do that. And I will get into all of that stuff and what all that stuff means to me in another video. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button if you like the video. Please hit the subscribe button. Please share it with family and friends if you think they would like that. And I will get to you again with another video soon. Bye now.